Hello, good people. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in to Watch the Game Sports. Now, before I introduce my co-host, I was really like for you guys to subscribe to the channel on YouTube, share the videos, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, so we can rank this thing up. PN.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What up, good people? It's Benjamin Banneker, 1 and 2. It's not a Bears winning Monday. It's just, we here. We here. We have an obligation to not
Yeah.
only the good people in the YouTube streets, but it might be a little bit of my therapy session. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. But we here to do our part.
Interesting that you say therapy session because I kicked my therapy session off on March the 16th. This is why I asked you that question about the day in which that they traded Justin Fields, because that's the day that I started to redirect my thinking when it comes to the Bears franchise and what they were about to do in the very near future, that upcoming draft, which is here and gone now. Now we're 3 weeks in, about to be 4 weeks into the season. But March 16th was the day that I started kind of healing myself and dealing with the realistic issues with the organization of Chicago Bears and the possibilities of the things they would do. So, but we're gonna start off on a high note because you had a pretty. I'm going to assume that your Saturday afternoon was pretty decent.
You know what? It was very hectic and busy. I didn't get to see my Wolverines live versus the USC Trojans. I had to go down to NIU. Shout out Lil Juice, shout out Juice. It was a family and friends day down at NIU. So I actually was at the NIU versus Buffalo Bulls college football game. Turned out to be a good game. It was hot as hell out there. And it wasn't my team, so we just went just to go for the atmosphere. We left at halftime. When we left, NIU was up. I sent you that screenshot that I emailed the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bulls because they kept getting a lot of single high looks and they wasn't taking advantage of it. And lo and behold, they pull out the game in overtime 23-20. But when I did get to see my Michigan Wolverines, I was tired as all hell. I fell asleep on some key plays and woke up. Lo and behold, they beat the USC Trojans, and we are still alive for the Big Ten and the college football playoffs. So I'm good.
Good. The interesting thing about that NIU game, they did lose, right?
23-20 in overtime.
Remember a couple weeks ago when they beat Notre Dame, I said it. This is why we do this. How would they respond? They had a bye week. Yep. How would they respond to going to South Bend, beating the Fighting Irish from Notre Dame? Then they go home. I guess it was a big weekend around campus. So
a lot of people, it wasn't capacity, but I'm sure they normally get.
Yeah, it was a big weekend in DeKalb, and they come home and drop one to the Buffalo Bulls. And I had a funny feeling that would happen because, man, I mean, they were literally the big men on campus. How would they handle their success? Had jumped into the top 25. I think they were ranked top number 23 in the country. Yep. We're talking about the Northern Illinois Huskies. So they just went out and the Buffalo Bulls came out and snatched that baton. And now I guess Notre Dame should be cheering them on for the rest of the season. Buffalo.
Yeah. And the funny part was Buffalo couldn't do nothing in the first half, like absolutely nothing. NIU was in complete control of the game. When we left the stadium, it was man, we was thinking like NIU gonna run off and leave these boys and win comfortably by 3 scores or whatnot. And as I got ready to leave NIU about 6 o'clock, we still hearing the stadium loud and the announcer, NIU Huskies first down. I'm like, this game's still going.
Yeah. I thought about you as I was watching the Michigan USC game, and I was just hoping that they would not allow USC to come into the big house and win that Big Ten open. Being that one, they're defending the big house,
Yeah,
they're introducing them to the conference, as
yeah,
well as they're the defending champs. I think it was a big win for Michigan, considering that in a couple polls, I think Texas is number one, and that's their only loss of the season.
yeah.
So if Texas can hold up, I think that says a lot for Michigan. How do you feel about Michigan's quarterback situation based on what you were able to see in Ann Arbor?
I mean, I think Sharon Moore, he kind of flubbed it. He should have went in the portal and got him a quarterback.
Yeah.
Especially when the reports coming out was that he played Davis Warren to try and attract more wide receiver recruits because they was trying to go to a more balanced offense, which I'm okay with because I think
Hmm.
this style of how they playing is not sustainable. It's been
Yeah.
great. They've been able to do this for 3 years, but that's not going to yield you success long term. So I was okay with him doing that, but when you threw 6 interceptions in 3 games, you can't turn the ball over like that. So if we're gonna ground and pound it with Orgy is one of the best weapons that we got. Hey, we got to do what we got to do so we can be competitive. That Saturday after
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, we got to do what we got to do. So, and like you said, we are the defending Big Ten and national champions. You
Hmm.
don't want to come out, especially in Sharon Moore's first year, with 5 losses, something like that. That'll be a quick way for the fan base
Hmm.
to turn and probably be talking about his job if they lose five
For
games.
sure. For sure. And I just wanted them to set the tone for USC, the physicality of the league itself, and I think they got that point across. USC USC looked pretty good, but Michigan came out on top. USC had quite a few guys go down to injury though,
Yeah,
and that's what I was talking about when thinking about the physicality of the league coming into the Big Ten. USC, UCLA, Washington, Oregon, and that's about it, ain't it?
it was
How
four.
long?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
we had
Hunter. Mhm.
13. Now we at 17 in the
Yeah,
Big
in the Big Ten. In the Big Ten. Yeah. They ain't been in the Big Ten for a long time.
since Penn State came through. Yeah,
Yeah. Penn State and Nebraska, Rutgers, you name them.
yeah,
But you all see the thumbnail if you're tuning in on YouTube. Um, I got two questions.
yeah.
I'm gonna let you talk about the Bears. And then we're gonna determine, is Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings for real? But before we get to that, I'm gonna let you unwrap the Bears. What's your thought process? This is your time to vent. This is your stage. This is your platform.
Coaching. It's as simple as that. It's coaching. When we go back to before even March 16th, we go back to when did the Chicago Bears regime decide to keep Eberflus and get rid of Gassi and get a new offensive coordinator? That's the day we need to go back and look at because I just don't think he's equipped to run the franchise. I don't think he's equipped to put this franchise in success. This is not a Mark Jackson coaching Golden State, and even though I think Mark Jackson got done a raw deal, he had
Hmm.
Golden State trending in the right direction. Then they brought in Steve Kerr. He took him over the top.
Hmm.
Eberflus is not anywhere close to that. I mean, the time management situation, the way he uses timeouts, the bad challenges, the offensive philosophy, which he's over because he has the ultimate
He's
say
the
so at
yeah,
the end of
he
the
the
game.
head coach. Yeah,
He
we
leadership.
throwing a
Yeah,
option play down on the goal line. Yeah, yeah, he the head coach. All I think 4 out of 5 offensive linemen on that play were on the ground. If you seen the still shots of that play,
I seen it. Yeah,
man, it's what everybody around the country is talking about, not just in Chicago. But that
and
was another. Go ahead.
yeah, even in that series, they was first and goal, 5 yards or less. I'm okay with maybe one time, trying to throw it in the end zone, maybe a play action or something like that. They had 4 straight runs. and the last one you was inches away. You was 1 yard or less, and you throw a speed option. You're running further. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. You're running further
Mm-hmm.
trying to get to your
Mm-hmm.
goal. So I just didn't understand that. Caleb comes out. I think he threw the ball 52 times yesterday. He didn't
Yep.
even know he threw the ball that much when he was at the press conference. He said, I threw it 50
Yeah.
times. He didn't
Yeah.
know. And
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to do play action. Like I think the pass where he got stripped when they had a chance to go and take the game over was a play action. Well, why are
Yeah.
you running play action? You can't even run the ball. All you're doing is putting the ball in the quarterback's hand longer than what it need to be. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
I don't understand. But again, this week I'm not as pissed as I was last week because the Texans are a better team than the Colts. And the Texans was giving you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to steal that game. I got the Bears going 9-8 and being a wild card team. So you're gonna have to steal one here or there to get to that 9 wins. This game, the Bears are better than the Colts. Anthony Richardson is just not it. Anthony Richardson was not it coming out of Florida. I hate when GMs do this. I mean, he played probably as many games as Mitch Trubisky, and they saw
Yeah.
the measurables. Oh, he's a
Yep.
big guy like Cam Newton, and he can throw the deep ball and all that, but he hadn't played enough.
Yep.
And now you
Yep.
got
I
him.
can see that. Mm-hmm. And you can
And
see it. You can
yeah,
see it in these games. He did
it's
everything he could to lose that game.
yeah.
Two interceptions. He was what 10 or 20 for 156 yards. Two interceptions. The star for them that on Sunday was Jonathan Taylor, 23 carries, 110 yards, and two touchdowns. He was able to
Say that stat line.
muscle. Yeah, he was able to muscle the Colts to a win. Um, the Bears defense for the most part played well enough to win, but when you're on the field and your offense just can't get it going, I mean, sooner or later the dam is gonna break, and that's pretty much what happened. I mean,
But they
Jonathan
weren't
Taylor,
that much though. The D, because the
yeah,
Bears, I think the Bears have ran like 70 offense. If you threw the ball 52 times,
yeah, yeah,
they did have some
yeah,
running plays sprinkled in there. So let's just say that's 65 right there. So they wasn't
hmm
on the field that much, but it was just the
yeah.
fact of when they needed to, they couldn't get,
They
they
couldn't
couldn't.
make a play, and the Colts made enough plays to win because the Bears defense, did play well enough to win. It's just a matter of the Colts deciding that they were not going to allow Anthony Richardson to lose the game,
Pretty much.
and the bad play calling on the other side for the Bears. They passed that magic number for me. Throwing the football with a young quarterback. The
Well
Bears,
past it.
yeah, he was 33 of 52 for 363 yards with two touchdowns and two interceptions. As this was Caleb Williams' day. Rushing the football, the Bears rushed the football 28 times for 63 yards. DeAndre Swift, the big offseason acquisition, ran the ball 13 times for 20 yards for 1.5 yards an average. They got to get it better. I don't think they're using DeAndre Swift correctly, let alone with the woes of the offensive line. Also make you wonder. Roshan Johnson looked good on a few plays,
Yeah.
running the football, caught a couple passes, and it had to make you think: where was he dealing with an injury for 2 weeks? Why wasn't he out there the
Coaching.
last 2 weeks? And then it just leads me back to the politics of the roster. Why in the hell was it so important to give Valus? It just goes back
He was a
to
healthy scratch
to
again today, wasn't he?
that's what I'm saying. So now what I'm saying is, why was Roshan such a healthy scratch for 2 weeks?
Coaching.
And
It's coaching.
roster. I mean, and you, Travis Homer. They're saying he has a hand injury now. So is that the reason why Roshan got a chance to play? Because it didn't appear to me that Travis Homer was better than Roshan Johnson at all in the preseason, in the exhibition game. So
Look at
just
what he did last.
politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think coin a new phrase. What is it? Roster politics.
Yep.
I haven't heard that nowhere. I think that's something we gonna
I've
coin
heard
that.
it. I've heard it. I've
Heard that.
heard it around. Yeah, I've heard it. I mean, believe it, it's all over the Chicago media that everyone, the Chicago media, the national media, not so much the national media, but the people that watch the Chicago Bears team week in and wake out and get the daily reports and watch all the daily press conferences. They know what they're looking at and they understand what they see. So very intelligent fan base. They know what they see. They know what they're looking at. So it
I'm
just
a
makes you
on
wonder,
that.
why was he sitting out? Go ahead.
I don't know if this is a shot. I don't know if we can say very intelligent fan base because there's a large portion of the fan base
Yeah,
that
yeah,
want to say, "Hey, Justin Fields is 3-0. I ain't
yeah.
want to get rid of Justin in the first place." Yeah, we're Justin guys as well, but
Mm-hmm.
you cannot justify. We got the number one pick. We passed on it one time. We got the
Mm-hmm.
number one pick again. We cannot justify paying this dude $40+ million
Mm-hmm.
for what he's doing. Do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to pay Justin Fields $40+ million for what he's doing? He's not going to get no long
No,
term deal. For that.
no, they won't, and I don't think they will. Honestly, I do hope Justin can take over that job because I want to see him successful in Pittsburgh.
I
But
think it's
this, but him not being kept by the Bears was Ryan Poles kind of, saving his job, so to speak,
yeah.
and and getting to the rookie contract of a quarterback and trying to win on a rookie contract. I understand it. This is why in weeks to come we're going to find time to talk about the pay scale, the expectations of quarterbacks, throughout the NFL, because I think I have a special criteria that I'm going to throw out, and we'll have someone else go on, and we're going to talk about that one night. But yeah, we we knew that when the Bears had Justin Fields, yes, he held on to the ball a little long, and the offensive line was questionable. But the offensive line has had questions for the Bears for years. Now, they've been able to run the ball successfully for the past few years, but it has not amounted to victories. But that's the one thing they can't do now is run the football. For 3 weeks, they have not shown the ability to run the football. And I told you as many times as I could on this show, a young quarterback, you got to have a running game, maybe a pacifier of a tight end, and then you go from there. Everything on the perimeter, you gotta put the offensive line. You gotta challenge the offensive line to be good at blocking. Run blocking first. Put your quarterback in a good situation to succeed. Now, Caleb made some mistakes. Caleb isn't the problem.
Expected. No, it's not.
Yeah, and I
It's not.
didn't want Caleb, I'm gonna make sure I did not want Caleb. I don't like the smart quarterbacks, and I just didn't like the fact that the Bears and the fan base are so sold on this Patrick Mahomes type. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want Caleb, because of the size, and you're trying to put him in a box of a prototypical quarterback, which is probably one of a kind. And at times he's looked that way. And then there's times he's tried to do too much. But I think if I'm grading Caleb right now, which I don't want to do, I'm gonna give him a C+ because he is showing progress week to week. Um, you know, him going out throwing the ball 52 times and not being aware of it, that lets me know that he's just sticking to the game plan and doing the best he could. He's been sacked up to this point in 3 weeks. He's been sacked 13 times.
Does that lead the league?
I'm not sure. It might, but I'm not sure. But I know for a fact that those are his sack numbers for the year. Um, and going into the Indianapolis game, I was questioning that if Caleb continues to struggle, yesterday he struggled, but it wasn't. a production struggle. It was a schematic struggle.
Yeah.
I question whether or not Ryan Poles, if Caleb continued to struggle, I question whether or not Ryan Poles and the rest of the coaching staff would kind of took the chance to play Tyson Bagent, because I thought that would have been a critical moment in the development of Caleb Williams if they continued to struggle. Now, I also expected for the Bears to go into Indianapolis and rush the hell out the football, because I don't know this. I don't know if Caleb leads the league in being sacked, but we definitely knew that the Indianapolis Colts was the worst team defending the run in the league, and they did not do that. They went out there and, like I say, Caleb threw the ball 52 times. So there you go,
Coaching, coaching, that's
coaching.
coaching, coaching. That's all that is. Coaching. That game was a one score game for the majority of the game. Is
Yeah,
no reason that you had to feel like we got to get points back in a hurry to throw the ball 52 times. It's just not. That's coaching.
yeah.
That's lack of ability to make adjustments at halftime. And
Hmm.
and the interceptions that Caleb threw, I think one of them was on him. Rome got his hands on that second one. So I don't even really blame him because Rome kind of allowed the ball to be tipped up like that. So I mean, it
Well,
wasn't
I don't think that ball should have been thrown. It was either late or it shouldn't have been thrown at all, because
the
Rome
first.
was bracketed. He was
Yeah,
bracketed at that time. The safety was over the top. The corner had decent coverage. So you can look at it how you want to look at it. A pick is a pick is a pick. And who you gonna blame? Rome, Caleb, whoever. And at times it seemed like Rome and Caleb was like, look at, man, let's do our thing.
that's
And that might
exactly
be
what
a
he
reason why it got picked off. Yeah, let's
did.
let's do our thing.
Yeah,
Um, Caleb did throw his first touchdown pass in this game, but the crazy part is he threw it to Rome, which was also Rome's first touchdown catch.
yeah,
So Rome has said that Caleb allowed him to keep the football, even though they had their little chase down celebration,
yeah,
which was a fun moment at the time. But at that time, it was also a critical moment, because you're supposed to know if you're going for two, or if you're gonna kick the field goal, if you're gonna go for two. In that moment right there, the coaching staff, Matt Eberflus, was exposed again in that very moment,
yep. Coaching.
being indecisive, not knowing what they were going to do after they scored the touchdown. You're supposed to know what you're doing when you get in the red zone. We score, we doing this. We
Exactly.
score, we doing that. So once again, Matt Eberflus, I'm not going to put on the offensive coordinator. I'm putting that on the head coach, because he's supposed to tell him, look, we score, we doing this or that. Going for one, we going for the field goal, or we're going for two. Matt Eberflus once again. That's why he's on the thumbnail.
And
That's
and
why he's on the thumbnail.
we see them with headsets on every week, and we're not privy to the conversations that go on that headset. But I know that probably each team has somebody designated to be, I guess, director of football, situational football. I know
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Lewis is on somebody's staff right now to do just that. I forget which
Mm-hmm.
staff he is.
Yeah.
He's on the staff to do that. Hey, I think we should go for two here. Hey, coach, you might want to look at this, or just somebody's there doing that. So again, when they got in the red zone, they had to say, "Hey, we score here, we got to go for two." At that point, because they got the intercoms in the helmets that cut off at what 15 seconds or whatever. Hey, Caleb, we get this here. We're going for two. I'm sure that was not communicated because Caleb was on the side with his helmet off and they had to call a timeout. So again, coaching,
Yeah.
accountability, coaching. Matt
Yeah.
Eberflus is not the guy for this job. It was evident last year to us. It was evident in Hard Knocks. He just looked like, hey, I'm just one of the guys. I just want to go along for the ride.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Speaking of Hard Knocks, I thought I was going to be excited about Hard Knocks when it started, but I just couldn't hyped up about. I couldn't get hyped up about Hard Knocks, because I was just so ready for the season to start. I'm like, you know what the hell with Hard Knocks? We're gonna find out what this team is all about on the football field. And sadly, that's what's going on right now. We're finding out about the Bears on the football field. Who cares about what happens on a Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central?
on
What's
HBO.
going on? Yeah, on however you looking at it, HBO Max, pick one. So, speaking of coaching, because things are getting interesting in NFC North,
Yeah.
and I want to spend some time around the league because the for the first week of the season, we're going to have an NFC North matchup. The Packers will be playing the Minnesota Vikings. Now, both teams are, I think the Vikings are 3-0, the Packers are 2-1. This is my question.
Hmm.
Are the Minnesota Vikings and Sam Darnold for real? We're going to talk about coaching for real because they're two successful coaches that were put in a situation that they were really not expected to be in coming out of the offseason because the Vikings drafted J.J. McCarthy and all
Correct.
things were looking like he would be the starter. I didn't think he should be because I didn't think he, made enough plays at Michigan. But the Vikings, I think, had him set to be the starter. Now he gets in there, he blows out his knee. Sam Darnold's in. And on the other side, you got the Green Bay Packers. They've been dealt an injury card with Jordan Love going down. And you got Malik Willis coming in with no training camp, gets traded in the last week of the, getting just before the end of training camp or right after training camp is over. He's 2-0 as a starter. And Man LaFleur is doing this thing, figuring out ways to win a football game. Not to mention Malik Willis goes to Tennessee and puts on a show at his own stomping ground, the team that drafted him.
Coaching. I mean, it's coaching. Now, are the Vikings for real? Probably. But
Yeah.
I think the bigger question is, can Sam Darnold stay at
Can he
this?
hold up?
Yeah, can
Yep.
he
Can he continue to play at this level? Now they went out and they dominated. You could pretty much say they dominated
the
the
49ers?
Houston Texans.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
They
yeah.
just dominated the Houston Texans. I'm gonna look at Sam Darnold's numbers for that game. Let me see. Sam Darnold was 17 of 28 for 181 yards. Not spectacular in the yardage category, but he threw for 4 touchdowns. Um, who caught those touchdowns?
We had 4 touchdowns for Sam Darnold. We had receiving Justin Jefferson had one, Aaron Jones, Jalen Naylor, and Johnny Mund.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So coaching, you got to mock that up to coaching and opportunity. Brian Flores dialing up that defense. I think he got a pick out of C.J. Stroud.
he
Let
did.
me see. Yeah, he had two. That defense got two picks out of C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud went 20 for 31 for 215 yards, one touchdown and a pick. As the Minnesota Vikings win that game 34-7 in Minnesota. See, I had questions about C.J. Stroud. And I'm saying this was his second season. What's gonna look like once some defensive coordinators get a chance to look at tape on him after a year, and now we're gonna see if T.J. Stroud. I don't like I said. I don't know if he's gonna outdo what he did last year, but and it's gonna be hard to do. But can he get that team to the next level? Continue to play at a high level while getting that team to helping that team get to a playoff and maybe winning one or two more games. And as for yesterday, Brian Flores figured some things out about CJ Stroud. He was able to turn him over a couple times, put his team in position to win a football game. So
Coaching.
maybe the Minnesota Vikings are for real. The quarterback guru himself, Colin Cowherd, he I think he went out. He picking them to
But
go
he
to the
loves
Super
Sam
Bowl.
Darnold, though. He's a Sam
Yeah,
Darnold.
yeah, but he also and he was as hard on Sam as he was on Justin. Kind of say they were kind of like underachieving, big time quarterbacks. And now he's high on Sam. Like maybe he's always been high on Sam. But the quarterback guru Colin Cowherd has said he said he's picking. Now he'll flip on you in a minute, but he's
Yeah.
picking. he's picking the Vikings to be in the Super Bowl. And
You
see,
know,
that's the thing. It's
you
only
know,
for 3 weeks.
Sam went to the Jets, bad organization. Think they had a defensive coach. Then he went to Carolina, bad organization. Then he went and sat in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan. So you know he got to learn and just sit and watch and watch. Now he's with an offensive coach who looks like he's one of the better play callers in the league. It's not mind boggling or a wonder why he's able to at least start the season playing like he's playing. He has some experience. He has some game experience. He's been coached up. He's in a good position with some offensive weapons. With the Jets, he didn't have no weapons. With the Panthers, he didn't have no weapons. So it's not shocking to see him doing this. I think it is shocking to see Malik Willis doing this because the Titans gave up so early on him. They just was like, we going Will Levis. I
Yeah.
think how many starts did Malik have for the Titans? Maybe less than a handful.
Yeah, that's what you took the words out of my mouth. Maybe less than a handful, but they went out. They 1 year they drafted Malik Willis. The next year they drafted Levis. So you had to think that Malik was probably wanting to get out of there anyway. Because I
Yeah,
mean, hell, they just this young. He probably think he has some ability, and for him to go into Tennessee and win a game for the Packers. How he looked pretty good. He almost he had one of them Justin Fields type performances that we were used to in Justin Fields' first 2 years. I mean, he ran the football. He had a couple. I think he had a touchdown pass, or maybe two. But interesting matchup too because the Vikings and the Packers will be playing on Sunday, but they got it down as a 12 o'clock start. Me personally, I think that could be a flex game
it's too
because
early.
of the. Say it again.
It's too early to flex. I think they can't start flexing until after like week 6 or 8 or something like.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, that's a noon start. I'm hoping that on my streaming device I'll be able to watch that game some way somehow because I was able to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers and Los Angeles Chargers game and I enjoyed. Sunday was I had a lot going on, man. I had a lot of football going on, but so that's looking at the division a little bit. So we're gonna continue. The Detroit Lions, I think they went into Arizona and they beat they beat the Cardinals 20-13. So that puts the Lions at 2-1. The Packers at 2-1 and the Vikings at 3-0 at top, and the Bears at 1-2 at the bottom of the division. As we look at the, because it's going to be a while before the Bears can play, will be playing a divisional game. So
yeah.
this is a big matchup. As far as NFC North, it's a big matchup for the division itself, considering the situation both teams are in. When we talk about the Packers and then the Minnesota Vikings. Um, Real quick rundown, and we're gonna wrap up real soon. But Aaron Rodgers and the Jets kicked it off Thursday night. We haven't spoke since then. Aaron looked a lot more like himself, be it was against the Patriots, but he did get it going, and he looked a lot like Aaron Rodgers of old.
Jets two
In
and
this,
one.
just say it again.
Jets are 2-1.
Yeah, they 2-1. Yeah, they 2-1. I think they. I'm not too sure. If I got time, I'm gonna look at the matchups for next week. Um, Another interesting thing as we get out of the NFC North, we touched on the Jets, kicking it off with a victory on Thursday. Now, one of the big things we talk about quarterback development. This story cannot be denied, and it can be overlooked. Okay, so Coach, what's his coach name for the? I think his name is Canellis, Coach Canellis
Oh
for the
yeah,
Carolina Panthers.
yeah,
He goes out, he pulls Bryce Young, and he puts in the red rifle Andy Dalton.
yeah.
And Andy went out and had a hell of a day in Las Vegas. And let me pull up his numbers. I think he had let me see.
Oh,
We have
Andy,
about.
I got him. Hold on. Andy Dalton had 26 out of 37, 319, and 3 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah, yeah, man. Big day for Andy Dalton considering the situation he's been in over the past few years. But it's only 1 week, and my question is, what does that mean for the development of Bryce Young? Because I told you last week, Andy looking to ball out.
Because
Andy
he,
trying to win,
yeah,
and that's what he did. Now, uh, the coach of the Raiders, he criticized his team for making business decisions.
yeah, I saw that.
Um, yeah, I forget the coach's name, man. Damn, what's his name?
Antonio Pierce.
Antonio Pierce. Yeah, he accused this team of making business decisions. So he gonna make a few himself this week. And but nevertheless, Andy Dalton go out and get a big victory and put some energy into that team at least for 1 week. And like I say, I'm gonna check out some time to look at the
I just
schedule for next week.
just thought about this, and we talking about
Hmm.
big decisions because one of the guys that was accused indirectly, not by Antonio Pierce, was
Hmm.
Devontae Adams. And
Okay.
I'm just thinking, remember that Garrett Wilson's number was number 17, and he changed
Okay.
to 5 this year.
Okay.
Think he changed his number because he got wind that hey, it might be a trade that Devontae is coming to the New York Jets, so you might want to
That's
move
it.
off the number.
That's interesting. That's interesting. But
Don't be
gotta pay
surprised.
attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
around closer to the deadline that Devontae
Yeah.
gets to the Jet. Don't. I'm just reading the tea leaves.
Yeah. We gotta pay attention to that. You put me up on game with that one. Um, I'm gonna look around the league right quick. We're gonna wrap up. Just to call out a few other teams that got victories. The Giants going. I think they went to Cleveland and get a victory. Malik Neighbors looked pretty good. 21-15. Giants over the Browns. We talked about Packers over Titans. Texans over Vikings. The Eagles uh beat the Saints.
Yeah,
Um,
Saints can't score no more, huh?
yeah, man. They dialed up a couple blitzes. Got quite a bit of quite a bit of pressure. Fangio, dialed up some pressure and was able to get the car. But that put Saquon Barkley in a position to redeem himself after dropping a possible touchdown pass the week before. He goes 17 carries for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Eagles beat the Saints 15-12. Uh, Justin, which I'm not going to talk about right now, we're going to give Justin a few more weeks before I want to talk about his progress in Pittsburgh. But Justin has got that defense, I should say, that defense and good coaching and good situational football.
Coaching.
Justin coaching playing Justin playing mistake free football. He did have a pick, but he threw for a touchdown and he ran for a touchdown the quarterback for the Chargers did go down in that game,
Yeah,
Justin Herbert. He
high ankle.
did he didn't finish that game, so that might have had a lot to do with the outcome. But the Steelers pulled it out 20-10. They're 3-0. Broncos beat the Buccaneers. That might be a surprising win because the Buccaneers were doing pretty good. But the Broncos beat the Buccaneers. And we talked about it. Panthers beating Raiders. The Seahawks dominated the Dolphins, but the Dolphins were playing with a backup quarterback. Um, but Geno Smith had himself a decent day, 26 of 34, 289 yards and a touchdown. Um,
Left-handed Dak was still in protocol.
uh, Left-handed Dak.
Tua.
Are you? Oh, Tua's out for 4 weeks, I believe, and I thought it would be the season, but they got him in protocol,
Okay.
and I'm considering he gonna be gone for the whole 4 weeks because he gonna need it.
Yeah.
Skylar Thompson was the starting quarterback for the Dolphins, but they went down 24-3 to the Seahawks. This was a big game. The Ravens and Cowboys, I think both of these teams needed a win.
And
The Cowboys, say it again.
I wanted both of them to somehow lose that game.
Well, maybe a tie, huh?
Yeah.
0-0, 0-0, a whole waste of time, huh? So 28-25, the Ravens over the Cowboys, but the Ravens once again almost got in their own way, almost let that lead evaporate. Like I said, I think both of these teams needed a win, because the Ravens would have been 0-3, and Dallas went on to lose their second straight home game after paying their quarterback. So, the rest of the season, you got to watch both of these teams to see how they react and how to respond to either winning or losing this game. Now, next week, the Bears, I think they faced the Rams. The Rams went out and beat the 49ers 27-24 in comeback fashion.
And
As
they,
critical, go ahead.
I said, and the Rams were shorthanded. They missing weapons all
Yeah,
over the place,
yeah.
offensive line. All they got is Stafford and McVay. Again,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
coaching.
But this the thing with the 49ers, you can't lay this on Brock Purdy because he was 22 of 30, 292 yards for 3 touchdowns, and I think he threw all of them touchdowns to Jennings. He was ahead 11 receptions for 175 yards. So you can say that the 49ers defense let them down, and the Rams come from behind. They take on the Bears next week, I think, at Soldier Field. So that's
Sooner or
gonna
later,
be an interesting matchup.
they doing
Go
the
ahead.
Rams a disservice though. That's a 12 o'clock start, so that's kind
Yeah.
of tough for them West Coast teams. But
Well,
uh,
they'll probably get in town Thursday or Friday. We'll see. We'll see. It might be an issue though. It might be an issue. Yeah.
hey, we need all the advantages we can get right now. Okay,
Yeah,
if
I feel you. You
and
you know it. Like I said, I'm in wait and see mode. They got to prove it to me. I'm gonna give it 8 weeks, and then I'm gonna lay some opinions down on you, some big time opinions on you that you've heard them before. But I'm gonna give it a little bit more time before I'm really hard on the Bears. But the Bears do have the Rams coming in the Soldier Field, and then the nightcap of Sunday night was the Chiefs and the Falcons. Um. The Falcons started out pretty good, man. They looked pretty good to start this game out. Darnell Mooney looked like he's a lot more active in this offense for the Falcons. And but
look
the
good in that.
Falcons, yeah, he looked good, man. He made some plays. Looked like they did not come out with the win. The Chiefs won 22-17. My thing is the Patrick Mahomes thing, man. This Chiefs defense is playing really well, and they're getting Patrick Mahomes in that offense out of some sticky situations, keeping those scores low enough so that they can make one or two plays and overcome a couple bad plays or one by because I think Patrick Mahomes did have an interception in this game. I don't even know how many interceptions he got on the season, but it just goes to show you it's all about the team.
Yeah. I think he's for him. He's turning the ball over at a kind of alarming rate. I think he might be at like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
It-
and
uh,
that's pretty alarming considering how early it is in the season for him and how much comparison he has to being one of the greatest of all time, most definitely the best quarterback right now. Um, Okay, we're gonna wrap it up because we got two Monday night football games ahead of us. Probably for the next 2 weeks, Monday night football will have two games on the docket. Tonight at 6:30 Central, you got the Jaguars and Bills, and then at 7:15 Central, you got the Commanders with the number 2 pick overall Washington Commanders, number 2 overall pick, Jaden Daniels, going up against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals.
the 0 and
And the
2.
Yeah, and the Bengals go into this game at 0-2. Another thing too, with the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, they're 0-2 as well. So those gonna be two interesting games when you talk about Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. From an aspect of these teams need a win. They need it bad because Joe Burrow got paid last season,
And
and I think Trevor Lawrence got paid just before this season started. So this leading us right back into the quarterback money conversation, the development and the money. We're gonna talk about it one day, but that's what we got going on tonight. Monday night football.
real
Didn't
quick,
get a chance to go ahead.
who you got to win them games? I got Bills and Bengals. Who you got to win?
I'm gonna go Bills and Bengals. I'm gonna go Bills and Bengals only because I don't believe in the Jaguars, and I don't know if Jaden Daniels is ready to go into that environment and win a game. And I don't know enough about the Commanders' defense or lack thereof to know if they on one side of the ball or the other can be dominant enough to be in this game. So those are two pretty good picks. The pressure's on Burrow. The pressure's on Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. I'm going to enjoy him. Then I'm going to hit that midnight oil.
Yeah, I'm gonna have it on. I'm not a fan of the Monday night football double headers.
I'm not either, but hey, it's
Yeah,
football. It's on early in the season. I can appreciate it. I
so
probably won't even get a chance to, you know, enjoy it or even focus on one game or the other, but it'll be on. I can tell you that.
same here. It'll be on in the background. I'll watch watch the game sports purposes. It'll be
Yeah.
on in the background.
Yeah,
But
this ain't easy, bro. This ain't easy. This ain't it's fun, but it definitely ain't easy because it's some work, man, trying to keep up with what's going on around this league. And we ain't even really got off into college football, so we got a hell of a we touched on the Wolverines and the Huskies, but
that was it.
damn,
Yeah,
it's a lot going on. So enjoy your night, cause I'm gonna enjoy mine watching the game, Monday night football. What else can you say? Subscribe to the
like
channel on YouTube. Like, share the videos. Thanks for joining us.
we gone. Like, comment,
Yes, you got it.
subscribe.